I can't say anything.
You said the next time you saw him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, we are live. I'm going to pop back in for just a second and say hello to everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm going to be off camera producing this episode. We've got Monte Jackson. We got Aaron Pierson. We got the legendary Mel Cup. And
It's true.
wow, kind of
We're
legend in his
We're
own
kind of nobodies compared to the legend.
legend in his own mind.
Yeah.
I refer if you could
Legend
call me
in the
King from here on
Tri-County
out.
area.
This is Indiana Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys. And let's start off as we start off every episode. Have you guys ever carried a Hammond B3 organ upstairs to a gig with a Leslie amp?
Both, yes.
Yes.
And we had the tall boy, Leslie.
The one that was like,
Yes.
yeah, instead of the,
Yes.
yes. Well, you can't see me, but
Yeah.
I was giving the dimensions.
Tall boy is almost 5 foot, almost like 4'8" or something like that.
Okay, I used to have an MPEG SV.
SVD.
Yes.
The refrigerator.
We called it the casket, moving the casket.
Yeah.
It had the 8-10-inch speakers in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and they sounded great.
Killer.
Oh,
You
great.
know what SVT stands for?
No, I do not.
Super valve tube.
Really?
Wow.
Because they didn't have anything that was powerful enough to carry bass, so they made this ginormous
Yeah.
refrigerator box with speakers
Dave
in it.
has an SVT cabinet at practice.
Who did?
Dave
Oh.
Dan's our bass
Yeah.
player.
That's going to stay there then too.
Yeah, he never moves it.
Okay, let's start. We'll start at the back and move forward. What was your first guitar, Monty?
My parents got me for Christmas a K guitar and a Gibson Skylark amp. I wish I still had that.
Yeah, wow.
It's a little tube 10-watt amp. It
Great
probably
for
sounds
practice.
amazing. Yeah, single
You
channel.
got it for Christmas?
Yeah, but I didn't know anything about amplifiers, but it was a good amp. Yeah.
Yeah.
The K guitar was all right, but yeah.
Aaron, first set of drums.
Very first set of drums, I was 7, and my parents got me straight from the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
Oh yeah. I used to
Yeah,
love
Blue
to get
Sparkle. Blue Sparkle.
Pretty drums.
That was it. I'm 7. And I was thrilled.
them. I bet.
And then later on, I got some real Slingerlands. Had a nice set of Slingerlands. Ludwig.
Sound great.
Yeah.
I was denied drums.
I wish
Not
I,
outright,
Yeah.
but well, maybe like to try the piano.
Yeah.
I think I should have been. I think I was supposed to have been a drummer, and I was denied drums too.
Yeah.
You know, it was like my parents were like, "Look, you're loud enough."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were
Just
thinking
being
too.
in the house, you're loud.
I
We
think-
don't want drums.
Yeah, it dawned on him. Oh, he's going to be hitting them. You know.
And me personally, I was hooked on a Sunday night Ed Sullivan show, seeing the Beatles for the very first time.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to do that.
Yeah,
You know,
they were so different, extremely
Exactly.
different.
exactly.
The
And
British invasion.
we've talked on here before about how, you know, there are things that came along that were just so different that, you know, you had to pay attention,
Yeah,
and it changed the world.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it changed music. It,
Out of nowhere, there's Jimi Hendrix comes in and changes everything
Yeah.
again.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love going. We had Thursday night dances here for several summers in a row. Forget who puts it on, Kiwanis or somebody like that. But they had all the bands, local bands and stuff, which there was tons of them all over.
Yeah.
And I remember when Chosen Few showed up to play, it was like, holy mackerel!
Yeah.
It was so different. They were
What
so
the hell,
good.
These guys are.
These guys are incredible, you know.
We used to go see them out at the Smith Auditorium out there.
Yes,
in
that's where I
Memorial
saw
Park.
it. Yeah,
W.G. Smith
Oh,
Auditorium.
yeah. Well,
I think
say-
all of us have played there
yeah.
Yeah.
at one point or another,
Yeah.
you know, which is cool. Talk about some of the, you mentioned the Chosen Few, some of the other bands back in that time period.
But like the people, my buddy, when I had a guitar, I had no one to really show me anything. So I got my parents had a chord book, learned all the chords, but then I met friends who had guitar, and Stan Jones showed me a lot about chord progressions, A, D, and E, and all that stuff. And that's how I learned from buddies, meeting with them and going and seeing them practice at home or whatever they did. Yeah. But,
Aaron, kind of the same story. Learn from friends, or did you take lessons?
I took
Play in the band in school
I
and stuff?
started taking lessons pretty young, and
That's smart.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, you did. I mean, it was a way to learn, but you didn't fully understand it probably at that age because I was pretty young. But you got the idea. But I got to the point where if I could see somebody do it, it's like, oh, I get what you're doing, and I could do that, So I can't read music well, but
I can't read it all.
I was looking for a shortcut to stardom.
Yeah,
and he's not teaching me any of those songs that I want to learn.
Yeah, I just pretty much learned playing the records,
Yeah.
Play your favorite song, throw them headphones on.
That's what we all did.
After
Yeah.
school, maybe that's the first thing I did. And I got home, put on my favorite album, put the headphones on, and play.
What was your favorite album back then? What were you playing?
Well, it's just I had my older sister had quite an album collection.
Yeah,
so
same here.
Any of that, I'd listen to whatever's on the radio. I mean, I loved all kinds of music, really. But then I got in junior high, and then you had local, Roadmaster had just put out like sweet music, and that was awesome. I was in 7th grade and saw him play at Bundy Auditorium.
For those that don't know, the Chosen Few became the Faith Band.
Yeah.
So when we're talking Faith and Roadmaster, again, those guys were just so good.
And I remember watching Monte open up for Faith Band at Bundy Auditorium.
Oh, were you there?
Yeah. So I was watching him, too. So, the guys in Taxi.
Thank you, young man.
So it was pretty cool. I was in junior high, I was watching these guys.
Okay, talk about Taxi.
It started by basically, I joined them. We weren't named Taxi. I don't know what they were called before that, but two brothers, Bob and Rick Owens, started and had it going. They were really good players, and I saw them do REO Speedwagon song. I can't think of the name of it now. Huh?
Riding the Storm Out.
No, it wasn't that. It was one of off their very first album. Yeah. Very strange. But anyway, I wanted to join. I wanted to play popular music and that sort of thing. So it was them. What was your question?
Taxi.
Yeah.
Taxi.
Oh yeah. And then we turned into Taxi. We got the name somewhere along the line. And we started playing all the little clubs around here. We played I don't know, can't think of, like the Coachman at the time.
Oh yeah.
And several of the VFWs and things like that.
Yeah.
But those back then, we were playing for old people who didn't give a shit about our music, So here I am now, their age.
Playing the same music.
No, they like it now.
Yeah.
Back then they wanted to hear that. They wanted to hear something they knew, play some music.
Yeah. You got a little Chattanooga choo choo or something.
Yeah. All right. And usually a Wildwood Flower or something like that. I can't remember that. Yeah, but then we played in Elwood and Kokomo and all those kind of places.
So who else was in the band?
Bob and Rick and a guy named Dan Jones. He still plays. And who else was it? And then Bruce Atkinson was our singer. He's a very good singer. Yeah.
I knew him.
And that morphed into, we got picked up Daryl Utt, and then just slowly shifted like that until they got called, him and another guy got called off to work at the factory, and they couldn't afford not to do that because their family.
They got a daytime job.
They got a daytime.
Doing all right.
They couldn't turn it in.
Yeah.
But it was all right. So then we just, by that time we had Craig Bailey in the band, and
legendary Craig.
Yeah.
Craig played with
Miss
Melvis
that guy
for
every day.
Yes.
Awesome guy.
what a dude, man. He was.
We're playing for Ben's wedding.
Oh,
in
okay. Yeah.
Pierson, Ohio. On the
Craig's son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a killer.
It's a
Ben, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's a saxophonist, isn't he?
No, that's the
Vincent.
other one.
That's the other one? Okay.
Yeah.
But he'll probably be there to play.
Yeah. He's gonna set in with us. It's in Harrison, Ohio.
You mentioned Dan Jones.
Yes.
How is Dan?
He had a stroke, yeah,
Right.
and he's been going through ups and downs. He was good for a while, then something happened. Got had to take a surgery for it. Fluid drained from here down to some part of his body that the rest of his body is absorbed. But I think that goes on, but it's not a problem for him. And now he's got, and I don't know what to call it, but he has. I'm installed in one now. The memory thing, yes.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best kindest word I can give for it.
Well, wishing him well.
Yeah.
Good dude.
And he still plays a little bit with
Brent.
yes, and Brent and Dave Ellison and stuff. I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah, that's what he's been doing last.
A name I want to toss out there that we haven't talked about in any of our episodes yet, and also passed away, but Jay Ammerman. Do you remember Jay
yes, I
Ammerman?
do.
You remember Jay Ammerman?
And Rob?
Yeah.
And Rob.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Jay passed away, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, didn't know that.
And Jay booked the bands I was in.
Oh.
We started playing together, and then he decided he wasn't a good enough drummer to play.
Oh.
And he was going to book the bands. And I wanted to get him in because here in Henry County, if he would have stuck around, and he would have become something management wise, because he was that kind of guy, you know.
Yeah.
But all right, so after Taxi, was 1001 right after Taxi?
They morphed into 1001.
Morphed into 1001. Yeah, we ended up. I forget what happened. We got a couple auditioned a few lead singers, and then we have finally Todd called me and said, "Why didn't you get me?" I said, "Well, you were in a band, so I didn't want to bother him." You know?
Yeah.
So we ended up. Craig didn't know who he was, so we went and Aaron was playing with him at the time. Yeah.
Stalled my singer.
Yeah.
That's what I was. That's where I was going to, because Todd came from.
We were called Vicious Rumors. Yeah,
Yeah.
me and Todd and Joe White.
You remember Joe
Yeah.
White?
Old Joe.
I'm not sure.
Joe went to Knightstown High School.
Yeah.
He was a barber.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I ran into him about a year ago.
Wow.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's same old Joe.
Yeah.
And our bass player was Gail Brumley. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Gail passed away years ago, but we played together a couple of years, and then Todd left to join those guys. And
I remember seeing you guys at the Enterprise
Oh yeah.
there on Shadeland. Yeah.
By that time, we'd gotten a manager to get us those jobs, because there's just I don't see how unless you live in Indianapolis, I don't say you get those jobs. But
You got to have the connections.
yeah, didn't have
especially
that
back
yet.
then, yeah.
Back
Oh,
then,
yeah.
yeah. I got a lot of people in back then.
Yeah.
With my connections
Yeah.
back then. I wasn't managing anybody or charging anybody. It was just helping people
Yeah.
out. But got people into the Raz and got people into some of the places. But that's how it worked back then.
Yeah.
All right. Dean Klein.
Dino.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about Dean Klein for a minute.
Dean. Awesome guitar player.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's an
Yes.
entertainer.
He is I think he's underestimated. I don't think he's underappreciated for how good a guitar player he is.
He's an excellent player.
Because
Yeah, he
he's got such a big personality.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't look at how skilled he
Yes.
really is.
Yes. Yeah.
He is the most amazing thing. I don't know if it's amazing that his execution of notes is really. I don't think I've heard him make a fumble or anything like that. That's rare in a player. Me, I fumble all the time, but he's when he's jamming and stuff. I don't know if he rehearses for his videos. Or
I
not,
take
but-
the Bob Ross approach. It's a happy accident. It's not.
Yeah, I do too.
Dean was one of them players. It just, man, he had the feel, and it just came
Yeah.
to him.
Yeah.
He did. He's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
Great player.
Yeah.
Good guy. I
Exactly.
haven't seen Dean in quite a while, but
I saw him over in Greenfield at what was it called?
Rose.
Rose.
yeah.
I saw him play over there at Rose one night.
yeah, I know
And I
he's
walked
still
up
out
and introduced
playing.
myself, and he
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
kind of like when we saw each other. God, it's been what, decades?
It has.
Yeah. I remember he came and seen us when we came back from Florida, in like 81 or something like that. And we were playing at the Triangle, and Dean was in there, and he said, "Hey, you guys aren't bad for a bunch of old dudes." I was like 22. Yeah, yeah, man. And then I saw him when
Hope you get to reach 23.
Yeah. I saw him at the hop when I was working there, and he was turned around backwards looking at the TV, and he had such beautiful blonde hair. I thought it was a chick. I went over there. I said, "Hey, sweetie, can I get you a drink?" And he said, "Hey, big guy." "Sure." "Dean, what are you doing?" Yeah, he's a character.
On another subject, we ran across Primeval at a gas station. I forget. I think it was like Greencastle or something like that. And I remember we were going in. Somebody goes, "I think there's another band inside there." And I think it's Primeval. "Do you know this guy?" "I don't know them guys." And so you guys are traveling in the back of your big 18-foot truck.
Yeah.
But that was some fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
Talk about that.
The singers got the ride in the front.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Was
Casey
Gene
Huh?
Kingery?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old Gene, man. What a bass player.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic bass player.
Badass.
Yeah.
He just couldn't keep it in his pants.
I know.
He gets some
Whether there's a
beautiful-
girl there or not.
Yeah. He gets some beautiful
Gene, you're
women,
locked in
man.
your bedroom for an awful long time.
He had more venereal diseases. They told him when we were down in Florida that if he got it one more time, they were going to have to whack him, and he didn't know what that meant. And so the doctor explained to him, when you get gonorrhea, it's like, they have to take like a real skinny blade and go up in
Almighty.
and twist
I'm
it.
hurting now.
And then they take a mallet and go
Oh,
bam.
God.
Yeah,
So now we know,
And-
right?
And literally whack it.
yeah, to get all that stuff out. They busted all those zits or whatever it is in there, and they got to get all that stuff out of there. So
Okay.
Holy
Now that
moly.
we've had our health lesson
Yeah,
for this
But
episode,
other than that, Gene was
Yeah.
a fantastic bass player.
yeah,
That guy could play, man.
bass players don't get the women. I don't understand that. That's
he
what
did.
you know.
He had no problem getting women.
It's always the guitar players and the
The singer.
and the
Yep.
singers.
Yeah.
You know, always. And
Drummers just sit
I've
up there. and
heard
do
people
their
been coming and seeing us for years, and they don't know I'm even
It's
in
like,
the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
I said, "All right, come and see us sometime."
Who?
Yeah, Project 19. How
uh,
do you know them? We go see them all the time. I've been playing with them for like 11 years. No.
you're not one of
And then
them.
they come and see me, and they went, "Well, I'll be damned. That is you."
Back here behind them drums.
Yeah.
You need to move the toms. You need to put floor toms and get rid of the ride toms so everybody can see you play. Like
Yeah.
Did you get a new kit?
Yeah.
Ellis Tapario.
Yeah.
Have you seen that dude? Ellis Tapario.
Yeah. He's from Siberia. Or
I'll show you.
somewhere.
I'll
Oh,
show you.
yeah.
I don't know that
on,
one.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Smoking
Dude,
a cigarette.
Yeah.
smoking a
drinking
cigarette,
Yeah,
coffee.
drinking
playing
coffee.
Tool one-handed.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Monte.
Yeah. Oh,
What?
sorry. I said a bad word.
It's not like this is made for children.
Not this episode, right?
Yeah, not this one for sure.
You're worried about saying a bad word after talking about whacking peepees.
Yeah. But that's a medical procedure.
That no one knows about until now.
I had no idea,
Yeah.
but I
No, they told him that the
We're gonna
antibiotics.
go back to it.
Yeah, the antibiotics wasn't going to work if you kept doing that. We're going to have to get something a little stronger.
Yeah. Nice.
moonshine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a smash. You can't do anything. That's a better thing for me.
There was the same kind of rumor going around about one of the members of a Three Dog Night that couldn't seem to stop having sex. and he ended up splitting his open.
Oh, wasn't Chuck, was it?
Wow.
I don't remember who it
He's
was.
the only one left.
No,
The other two
I think the guys.
You're
died.
talking about just the singers, right? The three singers
Yeah.
of Three Dog
are,
Night.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know which one it was. It was one of the members of the Three Dog Night, but yeah, he split his stuff.
Whoa.
Aaron, I think we've been pretty fortunate.
Yeah. Some of us behaved, I guess.
Yeah,
It didn't happen to me. I'm
Yeah.
not saying.
that's the good thing about it. See, I get
Yeah.
to tell the stories
All right.
because none of them are about me
Right.
because
I
I
hear
did
ya.
nothing. I did nothing.
Yeah. Sergeant Schultz.
Yes.
I do nothing.
Okay, let's go back now to and talk about the dudes in Faith and Roadmaster. Specifically the guys that aren't here, the guys that you liked, not the guys that you talk dirty about all the time.
Backstab.
Yeah.
I did not know anyone in Faith the Roadmaster at the time, but I got to know Dave Bennett and now Dave Barnes, but I didn't know any of them. I was 15, they were 19 or 18 or something like that. I was still in high school. They're out of high school. They're playing professionals, and yeah,
Okay, but your impression of them as musicians, Johnny Casella.
awesome. Yeah,
They
were all top notch.
yeah. He was,
Above everybody.
They
To
were,
me.
yeah, they were just above everything.
Yeah.
didn't he win
around here.
awards for playing saxophone in New Jersey or
Yeah.
somewhere where he was from?
And accordion
Yeah.
or whatever it was that he played.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Squeeze box.
That's what I'm saying. When they showed up out at the Smith building, they played so much tighter than any local band
Yeah.
had ever played around here.
But those guys have been together, you know.
My
Well,
brother-
not back then, not
Well,
as a chosen few.
Right. But I mean, they morphed in. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you guys.
I think they knew
Taxi,
something. They
yeah.
had something. They knew what their
They knew they
Right.
had something
the tightness and all that stuff.
because they started as Limousine
No,
No,
chosen few.
and then Limousine after
Somewhere.
Chosen
Yeah.
Few,
Yeah.
and then after Limousine,
Faith
Faith Band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Which
when
I like
Terry
the name
Knight
Limousine.
took
I
over.
like the name Limousine. Should have kept it.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
I like Chosen Few.
Yeah.
Yes.
Myself. I mean,
But my brother played with Bennett at the Alhambra all the time.
Oh,
in
yeah.
Knightstown. Yeah, back in the early 60s. And that's how I met Bennett. And then, they had a band called the Cutaways. They had Gary Hamilton playing guitar, and my brother played guitar, and Dave played bass.
Bennett played bass. Yeah.
My mom signed for his first guitar
Yeah.
at Horny's. He got a silver tone bass.
So
And
didn't Hamilton go to bass eventually?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, Gary. They got Jack Hamilton.
That's it.
played
Yeah.
bass. Yeah, he was on the Chosen Few album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing with Primeval. You guys were a tightly knit working
Yeah.
machine of musicians.
It was weird. You just started playing. Hell, I started
Did you
out.
feel the vibe? Did you feel the?
I started out playing guitar,
Mm.
and the drummer that we had didn't show up at Jay's Sandwich Shop in Knightstown.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
going to play out in the parking lot, and the drummer didn't show up. So we had to go back over to Campton's house and pick his drums up because he had them set up upstairs, and we took them and I played them. And then, that's the way
I'm
it
not
happened.
playing the drums. I'm not playing the drums. Mel, you're playing the drums.
Yeah.
and
I said, I'll do it.
and in another episode, he said that, and it just felt it was easy. It just
Yeah.
felt.
Well,
You
Jack
got it,
always
man.
sat down with me, and he was like 9 years older than me, and he'd sit there and go, do 4 on this, and then and then get
Yeah.
the foot in there,
You took it way beyond.
and yeah, I gave up my guitar. I had a.
What'd you think? This is easier, or
Yeah.
you just liked it more?
I could do it better.
Oh,
Yeah, I couldn't play guitar with it. But Larry could. He could. He was
Lucas?
almost like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
but then he got a Mel Bay guitar.
Book.
Yeah. This is a pick.
Yeah.
You know, it just takes it from the first thing, and he read it. He even sat down and wrote it out in a notebook,
Wow.
and even drew all the little illustrations and stuff. And he was awesome after that.
Wow.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
So, Monte, you're playing with one of the guys from the Faith Band,
Yes, Dave Barnes.
Dave Barnes, drummer from the Faith Band,
Yes.
and
One of
it's
my heroes.
absolutely
He's very good too. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody laid it down like Dave. I mean, he had hit the groove every time. Yeah.
and it's called Barnstorm.
Yep.
Okay. Are you playing out anywhere locally? Anywhere?
We've had the luck of playing someplace, then it rains. We were outside. Well, we'll try it again. There shouldn't be a problem. How many times can it rain on us? It rains again.
Yeah.
And then our first official one, we played at Maddie's down here. Every fucking sorry.
No, it's all right.
Everything.
If you want to talk about whacking,
It's already gone to the gutter.
Yeah.
We're good.
It's on now.
we played there, and and I was all worried it's gonna be all tense and anxiety.
Yeah.
Fucking whack your pee-pee. Hey, let's whack his pee-pee. Anyway, we played Maddie's, and every conceivable thing went wrong there.
Oh.
So just really a tragedy. We played about 2.5 sets, and he finally came in and said, "You guys," because people were leaving because of all our troubles. I guess I don't know. Maybe he sucked, but he said, "You guys can stop if you want to." And we're kind of disappointed because we're wanting to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. All set up, ready to go.
I tell you, who's underestimated is Rich Stevens.
Oh, Rich.
Your
Yeah.
bass player.
Yeah.
Rich is the bass player. Rich is the bass player in Barnstorm with you
Yes,
and Barnesy.
You guys know him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
from your area, isn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
I used to see him all the time when I lived here in town.
Yeah, he's you put the music on, and we're going to learn. He'll learn it that evening, and he's got it dialed up, good enough to play it. No problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a couple notes. That's a flat. That's not, or whatever. But
Yeah.
other than that, he's got it memorized and ready to roll. Yeah. And both him and Dave really make me look good because they play together so.
Tight rhythm section
Yes,
makes
they are.
guitar players look good.
We did one of the Faith Band songs. Can't think of the name, but anyway, they were really tight on it.
Yeah, we
Very
need
good.
dancing shoes. So is Carl doing anything anymore at all?
Dave has mentioned that can get him out to play harmonica or maybe sing an easy blues rock tune or something. But he said he really can't do a show because he has no breath to do it.
No, it's a shame,
Yeah,
man.
I know.
He's so unique.
Yeah.
You could tell when he was doing commercials and stuff on Q95, you knew right off the bat who it was.
And again, I go back to the Thursday night, seeing him come out and sing as an 18 or 19-year-old. Nobody sings like this either.
Yeah.
It was all amazing. Yeah.
You know, Kathy Van Winkle, you know her.
Yes.
Yeah, she was saying that, they didn't know if he's going to be the singer or not because he used to be painfully shy. I didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
He was always a charmer, on stage.
Yeah.
We opened up for him at the Raz one time. And I better not say anything.
You can go ahead.
Old Benny. Now he was up on they had in the dressing room, and the ceiling was like not as high as,
Yeah.
or the walls wasn't as high as the ceiling.
Okay.
And so Dave's up on the top of the ladder. They had a ladder in there, and he got up there and he looked over, and it was the women's restroom. And the girl looked up and went, "Ah!" Old Dave, and here comes the bouncer back there. Dave comes flying down off the ladder and sits down, start taking the strings off.
Yeah.
The guy comes in and says, "Okay, who's been up on the ladder?"
Why is there a ladder in there?
Why is it there?
Yeah, why is it here?
Don't look
Oh,
at me.
no.
He probably said, "Who's been up on my ladder?" I mean, the
Yeah.
ladder.
Yeah. I put it there, right there.
Yeah.
Got up on my ladder.
Yeah.
It's the ladder I used to get into the disc jockey booth at the Razzmatazz. What's it doing back there?
It was that was when the other guy, Paul,
Mhm.
little guy,
For
Paul Bridges.
I don't know.
You didn't
Oh.
know him?
Badass.
Yeah, he's a
Karate dude.
Taekwondo
Oh.
champion for a bunch of years in a row. And
He jumped through that window.
we were standing out in the parking lot, and then these guys came by, rolled the window down, and yelled something out there. And he said, "Hey, come back here and do
Come
that.
back here.
Come back and say that
Say that
again. I
again."
dare you." So they spun around, came back, and the guy had rolled his window down and got about a half a word out, and he kicked him right in the face.
Through the
As they
window
were
of
driving.
of a moving car.
Oh,
At the
wow.
Razz.
Yeah.
At the Razz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You saw the guy get the baseball bat to the knee
I didn't see that.
Oh.
No, it wasn't me.
out there,
Yeah.
patio thing in front of the Razz.
Yeah.
oh,
Girls
Other
could,
than that, it was a
girls could do anything they wanted in the Razz.
Rocking
But if a
club,
dude messed
wasn't
up a little bit, man,
great, gonna go down.
they got beat down.
I've seen the the doorman for like the Enterprises. You drink one too many beers and then
Yeah.
you looked at my girlfriend.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
looking at?
You're not clapping on the songs.
Anything at all.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on finally to probably the biggest name to come out of Indiana rock, Mellencamp.
Yeah,
The guys, do you know any of the guys that
Troy.
Troy Cannon.
Troy was
exactly?
yeah. Yep,
That's
Troy.
where I was.
Troy. After 1001, he did several bands, did a lot of studio work, and then next thing you know, he's been with Mellencamp
For 20 years now.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Dane Clark.
So
Yeah.
how was everybody in the band when you find that out? What the hell?
Yeah,
What we had?
it had already happened. I didn't know it. And
Oh.
we're talking on the phone. It's like, wow, how'd that come about? So yeah, good for him. Well deserved. Troy's a great guy, great player,
Good dude too.
Yeah.
good dude.
You know.
And when he joined 1001, he was one of those guys that he came in. He fit right in. We got along. Everybody played well together.
He had the look.
And just
He
fit
had the
right
rock
in.
and, he had
Yeah.
the rock and roll
Fit right
look.
in.
He,
But he's a good dude,
yeah, real good
and
dude.
He was a
very happy for him.
guest at my house for a while, and I'm learning to play piano and stuff like that. And he comes in, shows me some stuff. Oh, nice, yeah. And I'm talking to him about the guitar leads I was playing. This is the guy who's influenced me. I go, I've been playing this one lead, and I name off the notes, and he goes, "That's the Dorian scale." Oh, really? Glad you know that.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, that's really also a minor scale. It's like 7 other scales all rolled in one." And I'm going, a light went off in my head.
Yeah.
I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't connect how the Dorian scale worked with the A. There was a D Dorian, works with the A minor scale. They're all the same notes, but they start on a nut tone.
Oh, yeah.
So like the C major, I'm not going to quit.
No,
No, like C major is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C.
right.
And so A minor is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A.
But it doesn't start on the A
It doesn't.
in the Dorian.
That's just the name of the notes. In the D Dorian, it starts on D. So it'd be D, E, F, G. It's just the alphabet like that.
Right.
There's 7 of them like that. And that's when the light went off in my head. Fuck.
Yeah.
How long I've been struggling.
Yeah. Once you start playing scales
Yeah.
and, practicing scales and stuff, it's like, wait a minute, that's 4 different songs.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But Troy, Troy knew all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
We'd be goofing around saying, well, that's a blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
He was a great guy to play with. Super good guy.
Toby Myers. Did you
Did-
guys know Toby?
Did not know
I did
him.
not know him.
Unless you're going to segue into something.
No, I got to meet Toby the first time at the sports bar downtown Indianapolis. I don't know if you guys remember that back in the
Yeah.
80s. There was a tennis tournament that used to happen down there, U.S. Open tennis tournament. And the tennis tournament was going on. Phil Collins was playing at Market Square Arena that night. And Chester, his drummer, Chester Thompson, yes. Chester Thompson came in to the sports bar. And Henry Lee was there. It turned into this big jam.
Yeah.
And Toby had a couple of drinks, and he put his bass on me. Because Robbie Ammerman, we mentioned earlier, Robbie Ammerman said, yeah, he's a bass player too. Put his bass on me. I play bass up like this. You know, he plays down by his knees, and he's like 6'5", and I'm like not 6'5". So he put his bass on me, and it like came down to my ankles, you
Dragging
know.
on the floor.
And we do a 35-minute version of Louie Louie with Henry Lee up there singing and Chester Thompson playing. That's how I met. That's how I met Toby. And he just, I don't know, he just took to me for some reason. I guess because I was
Bass player.
Yeah. Brothers in arms, yeah.
And Troy, I think the last time I saw Troy, I think was at the Raz when you guys played the Raz.
Yeah.
And that was like 87, 88.
It was probably around
86,
89. In
89.
fact, we did our last show at the Raz. Yeah. And it was 89. Yeah, 89.
So are you playing with anybody at the moment?
I do not play in a band.
Are you looking to play in a band?
Oh,
If it came up?
man.
Or is it just like over with? You just enjoy jamming?
I just enjoy jamming. I do, like I talked earlier, we do a lot of, a friend of ours has a real nice home studio in Richmond.
It's real nice. Yeah.
Very nice. And
And you play some originals?
he writes, sings, and writes everything. And I do all the drum
Sweet.
work. Monte comes in, does
We're his lackeys. That's what he was.
he comes in, Monte goes over and does a lot.
You're the unpaid studio musician?
I am, but I love doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have fun. We just
What's his name? Shout him out.
Ted Carr.
Okay.
He was the sound guy for 1001
For a long time.
for a long time.
Okay.
And we just stayed in contact over the years. And me and him have been doing this for, we got a ton of songs recorded. We don't put it out. It's just for fun.
Yeah.
We were talking with Kevin Silva,
Yeah.
guitar player,
Yeah.
and we were talking about original music and how it becomes like a time capsule.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if nobody else ever hears it, you can put that on and it takes you right back to
Oh, yeah.
when you created that music. And there's nothing like creating.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing like creating a song.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
And it's the way we do it's really weird.
Yeah.
Ted will send me a scratch track. He says, well, here, just put something.
It's not even a
And
scratch.
I'm like,
track. It's
what you
like
got?
a
Something.
chicka 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 chicka
So
chicka.
I'll put
it's what's in his head.
So
that
I'll
he's
work
trying to
something
get
up,
out.
and then I'll go over to his house. I got a kid over there, and we'll just put a drum track down. And then I don't hear it for 3 months. He'll go over and do some guitar parts, and then
But he only
You know-
gives me like eight measures of the song to listen to,
and
and he
then,
goes, "Put a solo over this."
yeah.
Well, what's the rest of the song like? No, just on that part right there.
So
oh my
and then
God.
another month will go by, and then Ted sends me the final product, and we've got this really cool song. It's like, wow, okay.
And I have to ask him, "Is that my solo?" Because he's taking it. I wanted this part up here and this part over here.
And he's messed it. He's,
Yeah,
Swap.
I go. That is kind of better, isn't it? You know.
But we have a lot of fun with that. Ted's an awesome. We've been friends forever, and we still play. We still love playing, but we don't play live. But
Was Tom Slick last one you played with that? Is that it?
with you,
Was
yeah.
that the
Well, we played several years back. Me, him, and Craig.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
We did
Radio
that for a while, and it's just I worked real jobs. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's just
life got in the way.
yeah. So I don't play live, but I miss it. I mean, there's nothing better than playing live,
There's not.
man.
I know.
Nothing better than
There's
that.
not.
There's not. You find a group of guys that you can play with, man. There's nothing better. Really.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
Totally
absolutely.
agree.
Larry and me have been together since
Have you ever
Late
played
six-
with anybody?
Late 69.
Have you ever played
Wow.
with anybody else?
No.
I mean, you played with a lot of bass players,
Yeah,
obviously,
and keyboard player.
and a lot of keyboard players, a lot of singers. But as far as
That's very rare.
that's crazy. Isn't
I
it?
know, and it's
That's
awesome.
like
I
Richards,
mean, if you
Keith
just
Richards, and
Jagger,
Jagger.
Jagger. You know,
but just finding people.
So
That's the battle. Finding people
you guys
Yeah,
both
that
played.
works together with. It's like, yeah, that's it.
You guys both played during the '60s when all the coolness about being a band. Oh, I'm going to join a band where you play in
Well,
band.
yeah.
And
Well,
I didn't
when
make it until like I was 19 or 20. I missed all that, but all my friends that I know, that's why I asked Dave Barnes about what were you doing. He goes, well, we didn't have to carry gear because there were so many people around to help. Oh, really?
Wow, what changed
Yeah,
there?
yeah. That's what I was going to ask.
The
Any
M&B3
special
thing.
things like
Yeah.
that when you played? Like you carried your own gear, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
remember what the PA was at the time?
Oh, I remember in Primeval we had like Altec Lansing speakers and Crown. We always had Crown
Whoa.
for power. And but,
Donnie Dishman always had the best PA.
yeah,
Did he buy it then, or
I don't know.
I don't know how he got it.
But
He had the
Dave-
PA and he had the big bread truck to carry everything.
yeah, we're in a band with him for a while.
Silver
yeah.
set of Tamas, didn't he?
Yeah.
we had a 40-foot semi, and we filled up about
Oh,
this much
my.
of it. Jay Wilfong.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jay's
Farmer.
dad. Yeah, because they had racehorses out in Grant City, and he had land in Florida, and he'd go down to Florida and buy a bunch of hay and load the
Yeah.
trailer up with hay and drive it back. Jay would drive it down, drive it back. So he knew how to drive it, but yeah, it was stupid. We played at some judge out on like Kessler Boulevard, and it was back. They had a huge yard, $2 million home.
Not until they parked that trailer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was his kids. I think he just graduated in high school, and so he put on a party for him, and we played out by the pool. And here's Jay because they had a winding drive back in there, and he's backing in. He's putting big tire prints through the yard.
Whoa.
And then, the guy came out and kept screaming at us we were too loud. And we ended up sounding like a transistor radio, and it was still too loud. But it was hilarious driving in there in a 40-foot semi.
Wow.
I'll bet.
Then you open the doors. Oh,
Yeah.
there's our
Yeah,
gear.
way up there. Yeah.
Impressive pulling up,
Because it's
though.
surprising
Yeah.
how far away
Yeah.
40 foot
Yeah.
is, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's back there, it's about that tall.
Yeah. But backing those 40 footers up is a lot easier than backing up a boat. I mean, once you get used to it, I guess
Yeah.
it's okay. But I backed up semis for a long time at Avery Dennison. Get in the yard dog, go out and grab whatever they needed, back it in.
We played some places. I'm not going to ask if you did the same thing where you roll your gear in and the stage is like ginormous and you put your gear on there.
It looks
And-
like it's
it
about
looks
this-
like about this
yeah.
table and your gear is sitting there in that little spot. So we spread it out to make ourselves, but then it looked like it's just our shit got scattered.
Yeah.
It was so ginormous.
We play a lot better when we're in close proximity with each other.
You guys do?
Yeah.
Oh, every band does, yeah.
I don't. We played what was that place with Paul? Not Paul Levine, but what was his name? What was the name of that place? It was a massive, huge stage,
it
and
was
it was what you're talking
The
about.
Arlington Theater in
What is it?
Indianapolis. The Arlington
Oh, yeah.
Theater.
Yeah, massive
10th and
stage,
Arlington.
and we spread out. So because when we first set up, it's like
Yeah.
you
What's
you
the
got
next song? What did he say? That's all.
Yeah, it was the Bill Levin
Bill Levin. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Sullivan.
Bill
Church
Levin.
of Pod or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah, we did a show over there for a record we were competing for a record contract, and we got beat out by three dudes doing a punk version of the Brady Bunch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Here's the story of a man named Brady. They all had on
We had
knickers.
great
Yeah.
original songs. We had Sex on the Phone and Land of Dreams and Frazzled, and we had like, complete
You're not gonna beat out the Brady Bunch.
original set. We couldn't beat out them Brady Bunch boys.
Yeah.
Oh
We
boy.
had that when we were playing the patio. And of course, the band is coming in. I can't remember who they were.
Oh yeah, it was the Mentors.
Oh no, this was the not Meat Puppets. Who this
Oh
was.
yes.
And they rolled up and well, they're going to get here soon. And they got a song out. It's popular, and they got out of their beat up piece of shit station wagon.
Oh bad.
We have a truck, carry on PA and lights and crew. And these guys are the ones making the money. We need to buy us a station wagon.
And they wouldn't even trade us T-shirts.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I thought it was me and you or somebody who said, "Hey, we'll trade you a couple T-shirts."
Okay.
And it's like, no. It's like, whatever, dude. And about a year later, those guys had their hit song.
Yeah.
It's like, the Meat Puppets. They wouldn't even trade us T-shirts.
Yeah. And they played like ZZ Top and stuff like that, but they played it like, nothing like the fucking song.
Yeah. They did it there.
So it's like they put it on their song list. Yeah, we'll play it however it comes out. And it'll be, ZZ Top.
Yeah, they were different. But
But there were tons of people there to see them.
yes, there was.
Yeah.
They had their little following. We'd never really heard of. It's like, who's a Meat?
Meat
That
They
thing's
went on, had a hit. And
They're going to tow that station wagon.
Puppets.
It was just so weird.
Did they have Meat Puppets painted on the side of it?
No,
Like,
it was just a
spray
beat up.
painted like the Blues Brothers did.
Yeah.
They weren't that extravagant. Yeah.
So anybody, you played with Sofa Kings?
Yes.
Who was in that?
That would be Daryl, Craig Bailey, me, Mike Gross. He's a good Newcastle musician too. And who else was it? Be Rick Duncan,
Rick
the
Duncan,
drummer. Yeah.
morning show host at
yeah.
Richmond Radio.
And that band was, we got along so well. I'm spoiled from all other bands because I don't recall any drama. There probably was some kind, but nobody argued. We had four singers. Everybody got to do the songs they wanted to do, pretty much. Yeah, unless it was so odd that everybody, I'm not playing that. But
It's hard to find.
yeah, it was the camaraderie was awesome. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a band like it. 1001 was good, but we had too many little fires of drama going on.
Yeah.
Todd Schaefer.
Why? I say that, and then you say that.
Well, I'm just, not Todd in drama. I'm just Todd as
A musician.
a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a character.
Yeah.
He was a girl. We were just talking
We were
about.
just talking earlier.
Yeah, he was a very good front man.
He was the best
yeah.
around.
Man.
We could have been going to North Carolina, Louisville, wherever, some new place. He would win that crowd over like that.
Yeah.
And he would entertain you.
That
He
night
was-
we went into go ahead.
I'm just saying, he could win you over. He was an excellent front man.
Yeah. We went into the Enterprise that night. And we went up there and sat down at the table, me and Larry and a couple of the waitresses. And Todd looked down there and he said, Larry Lucas. Larry Lucas. And it's like, uh-oh. Yeah, and he come running over there and you guys was playing Piece of My Heart.
Oh wow!
Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great version of that, man. It was awesome. And that's when he seen it. He said, hey, how you guys? And he goes over and he grabs a beer and holds it up, pours it from about 2 feet away, pours it in his mouth.
Long flowing red hair.
Yep. Little bitty guy. He was a badass.
A little cute munchkin of a guy.
He was the character.
Cherub.
He was.
I can take him on with me.
Yeah. He was a cherub.
Yeah, I like what it was like. Yeah.
Anybody you want to shout out before we wrap up here?
Yeah, we better mention our buddy Jeff Ellison, our bass player,
Yeah.
1001 as well. He's he went on and played he's probably still playing. Last I knew, he's in Florida. But he was a schoolboy crush for.
Oh yeah.
And they just
For
recently
years.
played in Indianapolis someplace. He
Schoolboy
wasn't with them, was
Fresh.
he?
I don't know.
Okay.
Last I knew, he was in Florida. I haven't
Okay.
talked to him.
Yeah.
It's been.
You remember the Y store?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to be playing in Greenfield
I
this
heard
summer,
that. Yeah.
opening up for Head East.
Wow.
Who I introduced at the Razzmatazz.
Wow.
They played over here at the concert series, Y Store. Chris Schaefer, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It says Chris Schaefer and Y Store. Yeah. But still, they were real good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got an unusual voice, sings real, then he's got a real raspy voice, and he's got a.
Doesn't fit his body. You hear
Yeah.
his voice, and then you see him saying, "Wow."
The same guy they always had.
I think so.
I think
yeah,
so,
he was
yeah.
the guy.
I remember they told him they played on Live Day on Q95 one time, and I remember they told him he looked like his hair reminded him of Sideshow Bob. I don't think he really cared too much for it.
I'd like to have hair like Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, I'd like to have hair like anybody that has hair. Just the hair would be nice. I can name mine.
Well, lot of bald musicians.
Yeah, they just go ahead and shave it off.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't mind it at all because the maintenance is like
Oh,
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
there you go.
non-existent.
Save
I
a
just have to
fortune
cut
on
it every once in a
shampoo.
while.
All those, he save a fortune on shampoo
Oh yeah,
and all those hours under the dryer.
yeah.
You know.
Hours under the dryer.
In a band, you did at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh
there
yeah,
you-
yeah, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, I had to have big hair.
Big hair. Big
Todd-
hair.
Todd's hair dry with him all the time, constantly head
Hey,
upside
that was
down.
the 80s, man. That was.
Mike West.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Eric Turner, our old sound guy, used to run lights and sound for Peddler,
Oh,
Hmm.
and it was in like the early '80s. It was different bunch of guys. They always stick together for about 6 months and then split up.
was that with Dave Pennicuff? And
Yeah,
he was
Pennicuff,
a good guy. Player
Mark.
too.
Oh God, he was good. He's a great singer.
Yes.
Man, he'd do that AC/DC stuff and just stand there, like it was nothing. He sounded just like.
Then he'd
the
do a
guy.
nice, real easy.
yeah.
soft
Then
song.
he'd do a Journey song.
Yeah.
And sing like that guy. It's like dang. But him and Mark Burton, Alan Rhodes,
Phil Griffin.
Phil Griffin, Mike West. I think that was all.
Man,
Yeah, there's 3 guitar players, Alan and Phil
Phil and
and Pennicuff. They didn't have a keyboard player, but man, they were good.
Yeah.
Those guys sang like angels.
yeah, their harmonies were incredible.
Oh,
in there.
man, yeah. They just couldn't get along. One night in Kokomo at the bowling alley.
Pumpkin Vine.
Pumpkin
Yeah, the
Vine
Pumpkin Vine
Room.
Room. Yeah.
PVR.
Played there tons of times.
So
yeah.
worst fighting. Oh man, biggest ballroom brawl I ever saw in my life. PVR. Just like something
The
you saw
only
on
time
TV.
I ever played there was a fight there.
Ah,
Was that like just every?
I was the only one I ever saw, but it was
Yeah.
I
I
know.
never seen it.
Oh man, I was freaking out.
I went back to see what it was like again.
Yeah.
So wow, the door's unlocked. I go in, and I look over at the stage. It's probably maybe
Yeah.
3'6" or 4
Yeah.
foot deep. And then I got to thinking about it. We stood right on the edge of the stage. There was no, you could turn around and get your drink, but that was about it. The dance floor was like as big as this coffee table
Yeah.
or the dining table. I couldn't believe how small it was. And to get from the stage to the free where the beers were, there were 2 rows of table, but for some reason they seemed even closer now. I had no concept of perception of
I
depth.
can remember between sets we'd go bowl.
Yeah. Or play the arcade game.
Arcade
Yeah.
games, yeah.
Space.
Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I guess maybe I'm saying I did. Hurry up, let's go break. I got a game going.
Yeah.
You need to get a high score
Yeah.
on Space
Space
Invaders.
Invaders.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pumpkin Vine.
All right, one final club. It's been mentioned already, the Triangle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played there in I think every band I was in. I was in high school the first time I played there. You know, it was,
Underage.
yeah,
He came and saw us play a couple times and stuff.
yeah. I'd go see them play.
And you could have beer in Ohio.
3-2 beer at that
Yeah,
time.
Yeah,
You had to
at
be
18.
He's
So-
standing against the door,
Uh,
not against the door, but beside the door. And they were talking and giggling, laughing, making fun, crap, whatever was going on.
Just slides down the door.
You all right?
It's time to sleep.
Yeah.
yeah.
We played in Cincinnati at a place called the Reflections, and there was Exile. We opened up for
Oh,
Exile.
Ah,
They were incredible too.
They were a great rock band.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, this was back when they were rocking. They used to do a great version of Jailhouse Rock and
Oh.
stuff, kind of chopped up
Yeah.
halftime, and it was real cool. But we was on our way home, and our two roadies, who were underage, had drank a shitload. Like, they just kept bringing pitchers of 3-2 beer to them, and they get sloshed. And we're on our way home, and Campton's bought one of the first Honda cars ever made. Had the tires, it was only about that
Yeah.
big, had the motorcycle engine in it. Yeah, the gear shifter was up on the dashboard. It was like a 4-speed, but people used to pick it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, set it up on the sidewalk. But the two roadies got car sick.
nah.
And guy had his arms like this. He go, and he said, "Don't worry, I puked on myself so I wouldn't get it in the car."
Thanks.
We pull off the side of the road, and he gets out, opens his arms up, you get out there on the road. Like, oh my god!
Yeah, but it's Triangle. Think of the bands that went through the Triangle.
Oh, everybody!
Everybody.
That dressing room, they had some.
Dressing room's got everybody's
Had awesome
names
graffiti
back
in
there.
there.
Yeah.
Hell, I saw Silver Bullet
And
Band
they had
Yeah.
and
all the
Cheap
years
Trick.
bands that came
Eddie
through there.
was up there.
Yeah. I
Good
don't
old
know how many
Triangle.
of them was
And
real
it's
or
still in
not, but-
existence.
Yeah. Is it really?
It's still in
I didn't
existence.
Really?
It is. It's still going.
What
Wow.
was that lady's name? Helen.
Yeah.
Ellen. Yeah.
She liked Wallace.
Tom.
She
Dave
like
Wallace.
somebody in like Daryl or Ken Hill or
Oh,
somebody like
Yeah.
Ken Hill. I played with Ken Hill. That's Jay Ammerman managed the band.
I
And
did
you
too.
guys played at the Smith Auditorium, and I was playing with some dudes from Muncie at that
Yeah.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah.
There's
That
a lot
was
of good bands played here. Stamp Machine.
Yeah. That'd be a Johnny Ray Ken Hill thing.
December's Children.
Yeah. I never got to see them.
And Jim played in that. Played in that.
Parallax?
band for a
Is
while.
that no, not Parallax. They had a British name. Mike West was in the band. But they were good too. Can't think of the name. They had an unusual Bristol Proclamation.
Oh.
wow.
Yeah. Have I won the prize?
Yeah.
For obtuse, weird. Who thought of that?
All right.
I know another guy I used to watch. It was Mike Davis. You guys know him?
Oh yeah,
His-
Mike Davis.
In the '60s band, I just thought he was really good. He still is good. I remember going to see him. At
We
the-
need to shout out Mike Davis. Jerry Jackson is somebody we haven't shouted out
JJ.
from this area.
Mike was what? Speedster? Was that?
Yeah, he was in that. But
Speedster.
back then, he was in like a
Right.
60s
Yeah.
six-sided box or
He
something.
was
I
a
can't remember
player.
that.
Mike was a player, man.
Yeah. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys.
Oh, we
for
want to
having
keep
us.
talking. Come on.
Yeah,
Maybe he had nothing to say.
Yeah. We okay.
Yeah.
Will you come
Yeah,
back on? Will you come back on for a second one? Will you do
Absolutely.
it again?
Enjoyed it.
All right.
Thanks
Cool.
for having us.
Yeah,
Hey,
thank
we
you very
appreciate
much.
you guys. Truly do.
Yeah.
We've got Mark Cawley, the bass player from the Faith Band, coming up. We've got Benito Di Bartoli coming up. Who else have we got?
We had
Alan Kay. Alan Kay. We're
Yeah.
trying to work out the logistics to get Alan Kay on. And yeah, so we appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
This
Great,
is fun. This is great. Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I hope
Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
Hope all of you enjoyed it
Fun
too.
talking
There we
to
go.
Monte, I know.
What's that?
It's always fun talking
Oh.
to you. I always got something stupid to say.
This is the first time you guys have met, right? You had
Yeah,
Yeah.
I told him, I said, I've heard a billion good things about you.
half of them are true.
And, what a fantastic player. So,
Oh, well, thanks, man. I appreciate
privileged to
that.
meet you, buddy.
You too, man.
Guys, appreciate you.
Right on.
Thank you.
Thank you, dudes. Everybody, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting to say that. Thank you,
Way
Melvis.
to go, Barry.
Give me a positive,
Get the like-
positive reinforcement for doing the right thing. Yeah. We will. We'll see you next time around. Thanks for watching. This is